Alright guys, so let's talk about what types of ads to use. For e-commerce, really there's going to be a pretty specific life cycle of advertisements that you are going to use. Because there's a lot here and it's easy to get overwhelmed, but we're not going to let ourselves get overwhelmed ever, because that's one of the keys to succeeding as an entrepreneur, especially in the internet space, as there's a lot of self-motivation involved. So what types of ads should we use? So first of all, we're going to name our campaigns well. We can read these specific sections to kind of learn how I like to name my campaigns. Micro pig sweatshirt, like this could be pug sweatshirt. You could say the month or year, and you could say what your actual goal is, right? Maybe you're retargeting everyone who's viewed your website page in like Germany or something like that. Maybe I could be even a little bit more specific, but it'll help you as you start to get a lot more ad campaigns and ad sets and ads going, to have as much kind of specificity as you possibly can. So there's a lot of ads here, but the main ones that we are going to use are traffic, engagement, and conversions. So if you have really well done videos, or you want to mess around and try to get emails from Facebook directly, lead generation can be good. Obviously video views can be good. A cool thing that you can do with video views, if you have like a great video, or maybe like your specific experience as a person, you feel comfortable with video editing, or you're just good at it, or you like it, or you have a friend who is, or something like that. Video views is cool because first of all, it's very cheap, especially if you're just going after video views itself, not actually expecting people to click through. Second of all, because you can retarget people based on how much of the video they viewed. So if they viewed like 25% of your video, you know that they're much more interested in someone that's just scrolling through their feed, or viewed it for like 1 second or something like that. Or if they viewed 50% or 75%, you can basically be sure that they're quite interested in what you have to offer. And so you can retarget them with a discount, or you could retarget them in other ways. And it's like a fun little kind of synergy that you can really get going. And it's super exciting stuff. Sorry, I always get really excited about this, just because it's such an art. It's so beautiful. But for the most part, guys, we're going to be using traffic, engagement, and conversions. So traffic literally means that you just want to get traffic to your website, or you want to get traffic to basically any link. You could send them to like a blank white page if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but literally you can send any type of traffic you want. So the reason that why we would use traffic instead of conversions is for two reasons. So traffic, for the most part, is a little bit cheaper. Conversions is more expensive at the beginning, but we'll talk about why that is. So traffic is mainly used for when you don't have any pixel data. So no one's come to your website yet, right? You're a brand new website. You just set up your pixel. You just get your business manager set up, a place that a lot of us might be in at this point in the course. So traffic is it's probably the best model to get people from a Facebook ad to your actual site. And then once multiple people start browsing your site, then you'll have more pixel data, and then we can actually transition to conversions. So the reason why we would use engagement is because we want to build what's called social proof on our actual ad itself. So social proof means like, just think about it in your own life. When you're scrolling through a Facebook feed and you see like an ad pop up and it has like 1 like and no comments and no shares and nothing and no views, you're probably going to just glaze over that because it's not particularly interesting. But if you see an ad that has 1,000 likes or 2,000 likes with a bunch of comments and a bunch of shares, then it piques your interest. It's just natural human nature to be curious. P.T. Barnum said, "Nothing attracts a crowd quite like a crowd," which I've said before, but I love that quote, and it's so true. People are just interested in what other people are interested in. So what we're going to use the engagement marketing objective for is to actually create what's called social proof on your ad. And how we're going to do that, guys, is we are going to target very cheap nations. So if you run an engagement ad campaign in the USA, it's going to be expensive, right? You could pay a cent to 5 cents to even 10 cents per like or comment or share. But if you run an engagement campaign in my favorite 3 countries are India, Pakistan, and the Philippines, those 3 places, what Facebook will do is it will show your ad to people who, based on Facebook data, are most likely to like, comment, or share your specific ad. And so you're going to start to build a bunch of likes, a bunch of comments, a bunch of shares, especially if your ad is interesting or eye-catching, which it obviously should be. You're going to start to build a lot of social proof for that specific ad, and then you can actually take that same ad with all of that social proof, and then you can run it in the USA as a traffic campaign. So the life cycle, every time for me, is I'll set up an engagement ad first. I'll make my ad creative, my image, everything pop, everything super sexy, and then I'll run an engagement ads in the 3 countries I just mentioned: India, Pakistan, and the Philippines. And I'll run an engagement campaign. Once I have 100 likes or 1,000 likes and some comments and some shares and things like that, then what I'll do is I'll duplicate that same post and I'll run it as a traffic campaign. And I'm going to show you exactly how to duplicate a post using the post ID in one of the next videos. Just look for that. I'll call it something like how to use social proof to double your conversions or something like that. You'll see it in the course, and it'll teach you exactly how to do that. It's a little complicated, but I promise I'll teach you exactly how to do it step by step. And then once we have the social proof, we're going to run a traffic campaign. Once we get to start getting people to our site and get people actually browsing through our site and adding to our cart and making purchases, then we can actually start to run what's called a conversion campaign. So a conversion campaign basically means, okay, Facebook, show my ad to people who are most likely to do X. And why I'm saying X is because you can run a conversion campaign for multiple reasons. And so most often people will run conversion campaigns for purchases or add to cart. It depends how much data you have, but let's say you have a ton of data. Everyone would run a conversion campaign for purchases, because what that means is that you are using Facebook's unbelievable amount of data to optimize your campaign to only show your ad for people who are most likely to share characteristics with people who have purchased from your site. Which is, and I'm going to repeat that really quick because it's so important to understand conversion campaigns from a purchase perspective. Once you have purchase data, and you will have it when people start to make purchases on your site after you install the pixel, like I showed you how to do. When you run a conversion campaign, you're optimizing for people who purchase, and that will use Facebook's algorithms, incredibly complex and beautifully designed algorithms, to only show your ad to the people who are most likely to also purchase. And so it's a very, very powerful way. And just something to note, conversion campaigns tend to be a little bit more expensive than traffic campaigns from a cost per click perspective, but conversion campaigns learn, which is a very important point, and it will start to learn what's working and what's not, which characteristics are converting, which are not, and it will actually automatically update itself to be closer and closer to actually getting you more purchases by itself. So over time, your cost per click and your ad costs in a conversion campaign will be high at first, but it'll start to go down and down and down. So don't get worried if you're seeing a conversion campaign being more or slightly more expensive than your traffic campaign. That's kind of the ad life cycle that I like to use and that I've proven has been very successful from an e-commerce perspective, especially with Shopify, right? Building a lot of engagement for super cheap, pennies on the dollar in those 3 countries: India, Pakistan, the Philippines, and then using traffic campaign to actually get people onto our website if we don't have pixel data yet, if we don't have website visitors yet, and then actually running conversion campaigns once we have some purchases and things that we let Facebook actually do kind of the heavy lifting for us and optimize for. And guys, we can run this. The beautiful part, I love this. The beautiful part is we can run this in unison with custom and lookalike audiences. So maybe I make a custom audience of everyone who's visited my site, and then I make a lookalike audience of that custom audience with 2 million people instead of maybe 1,000 or 10,000 or however many people have visited. And then with that lookalike audience, then I run a conversion campaign only from that lookalike audience of people who are similar to the people who've purchased from my site. So you can really use them in combination, and it really starts to get exciting, and it really starts to work, guys. And then with that, we'll talk about retargeting next, right? How you can retarget people who have performed certain actions, or maybe they visited certain pages, maybe they visited your thank you page. So you're going to retarget them with a 50% off coupon, or just a bunch of amazing little magical ways. I mean, it's not magic at all once you understand it, but at first I'm sure it probably seems like that. A bunch of really advanced ways to combine all of this stuff to really drive our ad costs to the absolute lowest point, and really bump our profit up to the absolute highest point. So we're going to go through all of that. I promise you guys, you're going to be Facebook pros by the end of this. So let's get to the next one.